Good morning. Oh, you can do better than that. Good morning. Hey, much better. What I want to do this morning, I want to talk a little bit about the cloud. I'll give you a perspective of what I see out there as I'm out there with clients. And I want to give you a perspective of the role that you all can play and the opportunity that's there. Because the opportunity is tremendous. Everyone knows the cloud is here to stay. Everyone knows it's changing everything, the way we work, the way we think, the way we play. The challenge a lot of clients have is they're going to need help, because the same challenges that you all have around skills and technology, they're having it in spades. And I believe that they're going to increasingly look at partners to help them in that transformation. And when you think about it, there's really three things changing all at once. If you think back to client-server computing, the compute model changed. You think back to the internet, one thing was changing. What we're starting to see now is everything is changing all at the same time, and they're all related. You can't talk about cloud without talking about the other things going on. One is data, and then we heard the Internet of Things. All that is, it's just more data coming at you, more data you need to analyze, and more data that you want to use to build the next generation of dynamic business processes. I always say when you're driving your car, if you only look in the rearview mirror to see what has happened, you'll probably crash your car. I think in the era of the cloud, business is going to be the same way. You've got to be looking in your rearview mirror to see what happened, but you better be looking out in real time to see what is happening, because the changes in business are going to happen at that speed. And then you have to understand engagement, because the power has shifted, and the power is shifting to individuals, whether they're employees, whether they're clients, whether they're consumers. And if you think of the impact of mobile, I always get asked the question, is mobile impacting cloud or is cloud impacting mobile? The answer is yes, because it's both. They're both kind of building on each other, and everything's changing simultaneously. On an annual basis, we do a survey of the C-suite. Some interesting data came out. 79% of the business leaders are focused on rapid innovation, and they have initiatives to respond to the emerging trends. Now, the thing that we're seeing is they're not afraid to go use the cloud. They're not afraid to engage in the next generation of marketing capability. They're not going to the CT or the CIO or the CTO. You know what? They're looking out there, and they're looking at anybody who can provide them with very rapid. IT leaders, business innovation is now the priority of the CIOs, because they know they have to enable the enterprise strategy, and you have to focus on outcomes. It's not about technology. In fact, I'll contend that the cloud is in the next phase. The first phase was all about compute, storage, networking. The next phase is about transformation of the business processes. Some business processes are great out in the cloud. Some will be in the back systems, because that's where they can differentiate. And I find it interesting when people talk about the cloud and applications, and we all talk about migrating applications. In fact, what's happening are people are connecting. 91% of net new software in 2014 was built for cloud delivery. Think about that. People are not spending a lot of time building traditional systems. They are building cloud, but they're not focused on migrating. They're focused on the new innovation that they can get from the cloud. So when you think about it, the cloud is really a nexus of forces that's going to enable business innovation. It's enabling technology innovation, but I will contend that it's innovating business. And guess what? Anybody can play. Any size of company can now play. And whether it's public, private, hybrid, bare metal, on-prem, off-prem, the opportunities are going to be tremendous. I don't think we've ever seen, the change happening at the speed. And you have to leverage data to create competitive advantage. Think of those things, all those connected things, providing data. It's going to have an impact on the process. Think about what companies are doing to do preventive maintenance today. It's all about the process and the outcomes. And then you have to understand the importance of mobile in the customer interaction. Not only for consumer, but all of us deal with mobile devices, whether they be the phones or the tablets. And 72% of business leaders say the cloud will be extremely important to their business success for 2016. Not their technology success, their business success. when I look at that, that tells me what an opportunity all of you have to bring your expertise in your particular area, in your particular domain, in your particular industry, because I'll contend you are going to be a disruptor or you're going to be disrupted. And you've got to decide what side of that coin do you want to be on. Now, hybrid cloud is here to stay. This notion of just public or just private, I think, are the two extremes. I think most of what we're going to see is hybrid. In fact, Gartner, in one of their initiative overviews, said through 2020, most of the common use of cloud services will be a hybrid model combining on-prem and external cloud services. Why is that? Trillions of dollars of investment made in systems today. Why would I move a transactional system that's running, that's secure, unless I really believe there's something fundamental in the cloud that's going to give me a competitive advantage or a financial advantage? If all I do is move it, all I'm doing now is taking an application, I'm hosting the application out on the cloud. Hosting has been around for a long time, and people have had the opportunity to host these kinds of systems. What's more important is how do I connect them to these next generation of capabilities, these next generation of applications? And whether that's on-prem to public, on-prem to private, or even more importantly in the future will be cloud to cloud. Because we're going to have to build a set of technologies based on open technologies to be able to share. Because if all we do is build these stovepipe clouds, the client will not get the true benefit. Because you want the client to be able to mix and match the services. And therefore, you better pay attention to things like integration, huge opportunity. Clients are trying to figure out how to connect the cloud to their systems. Security, obviously. Visibility and control. When you had a data center, you knew how your application ran. You knew what was up, what was down. Just because you move it to the cloud doesn't give you, the right to say, oh, well, it's in the cloud, I don't have to worry about it anymore. And guess what? The cloud provider is probably not going to worry about your particular application, especially in a hybrid world. And then the other one you got to pay attention to is data. Data services and localization. In fact, as you go and look at your businesses, I will contend that data will actually be the next generation that drives the cloud because of all of this data. You go outside the US, you want to do business in Germany, you cannot take most of the data and move it out of the country by law. So you're going to have to deal with data services and localization. And then you've got to be able to change the way you develop. How many of you have iPhones and Android phones that you download almost every day a new application or enhancements to the application? Gone are the days where you can have an 18-month project from the front to the back. Nobody's going to wait that long. Someone will disintermediate you. So you have to change the way you think about the end-to-end delivery of these next generation of capabilities. Now, from an IBM perspective, we do supply the layers of the cloud, from infrastructure through our software, or through our SoftLayer set of capabilities, up through the platform as a service and Bluemix. And I'll talk a little bit about these. And we believe that you want to have multiple entry points. Depending on what you're doing, you will enter at any one of these layers. And that will depend on the opportunity that you see and what problem you're trying to solve. And if you look at our investment in 2014, we're all in. We're all in. We announced an expansion of 40 data centers around the world, $1.2 billion. We're not building mega data centers. We're putting data centers in all the major countries around the world with a private backbone. Why do we do that? We can move data around faster and cheaper than any other player in the market. And by the way, you are a client and you have an HR application and you want to sell it in Germany, guess what? You can put your application, you can put your data in Germany and you can abide by the laws. We made a commitment on Bluemix, the application development platform, $1 billion investment in that platform. We made some key acquisitions like Cloud. We've added security capabilities. These are all the things that we believe will really make hybrid cloud the next generation of what clients are trying to do. Because I always tell people, There's being on the cloud, and there's going to be in the cloud. On the cloud is, let me take my on-premise software and let me throw it up and run it on the cloud. All that is a fancy name for hosting. What you really want to do is decompose those applications to a set of services and start to script together and bring together those services in new and unique ways that provides differentiation. So when you think about that in the business process sense, and you think about the data that I can use to stitch things together differently, now you start to see a very different set of outcomes and a very different set of opportunities. That's why we invested in SoftLayer. Whether you want single tenant, multi-tenant, you want bare metal, we also allow you to control. So you can tell us where to put the data, where to put the application. Some of these others, I get a service, I don't know where that service is running. Well, there are some industries that you have to know where your data resides. You have to have control of the data. We got 2,000 APIs in the SoftLayer platform that allows you to really have control over the infrastructure. Because you've got to think of the cloud almost as an extension of a data center. When I have my own data center, guess what? I know where things go. I don't want to manage it all, but I do want to be able to have some degree of visibility and control. And because we are on a high-speed network, private network, we can provide faster applications, we can give you the performance, and we also can give you the cost, because you're not paying for all that data movement. Too many people look at the cost of compute, the cost of storage, as an acquisition cost. Look at the cost of a 3-year when you're running an application at scale and you're moving data around all of these public networks. Take a look at the cost that you're spending. I'll contend that that cost will far outweigh the cost of computing and storage, as you heard from the panel, right? The cost will keep driving down, but look, if in a world of data, you're going to be moving a lot of data around. And SoftLayer works for all kinds of businesses. Whether you're born on the web, like Opera Response, they need fast response because they do, ads, and they've got to be real-time clicks, because they do the real-time ads when you walk into a store, as an example. Or the next generation enterprise apps, things like Cloud, providing that NoSQL ability for the enterprise. We were so impressed with Cloud when we worked with them that we ended up acquiring the company to fill out our portfolio of data services. And then you see a whole slew of traditional clients moving to the cloud. And they're making decisions. SAP on the IBM Cloud, they took a look at our worldwide network and they said, you know what? Clients are going to be connecting things together. This hybrid notion is really where a lot of clients are going to be. So you got to have services that really can help you, serve clients no matter where they come. Because it's not going to be just the traditional. There's going to be a lot of new born on the web, a lot of next-gen enterprise apps being delivered. And you want to be able to play with all of those. Now with Bluemix, what we really tried to focus on is enabling developers and enabling them to do very quickly build the next generation of applications. There are over 100 IBM and third-party and open-source runtimes and services integrated in the platform. We've integrated mobile services into the platform. We built it on top of SoftLayer, so you get all of the inherent capability and scalability, and you can run your application on any data center that we have around the world. Same platform, you can move data, you can start to connect things together, so you can rapidly scale your application and your services. A lot of programmers get all hung up on the sexiness up front, and then they pay the price when it comes to scaling these applications and services. And it must be built on open technology. And the reason that's really important is if we don't, how do you share? And how do I start connect services from cloud provider A, cloud provider B, cloud provider C? Because if the client has choice, they want the service that best matches to the problem they're trying to solve. So things like OpenStack, Cloud Foundry are really important open standards that everybody should play, and you've got to make sure that whoever you choose as your partner, that they have the ability to extend out and open up your market and not tie you in to one particular technology. So, and you know what? People are going to develop on the cloud. We built Bluemix. You can run it in the public cloud. You can run it as a dedicated in the public cloud, so almost like a private cloud that we host, and you can now even run it on-prem, depending on what the application you're building and what is important to you. Now, the speed. We talk about DevOps. DevOps, the tooling for the developers built into the platform. Fully integrated. BART, out in California, the rapid transit system. You know, they were trying to build an application to speed up their ability to get trains back online very quickly. They developed a mobile application with the iPad, for the iPad that connects to their traditional back-end maintenance system so that the person out in the field never has to come into an office. They can monitor, they can order parts, they can do service requests while in the field. 15 days to develop the application. Now, they did an assessment and had a third party come in who told them it would take 6 months. They did it in 15 days with Bluemix, and you can imagine the cost savings with that. Now, you also have to pay attention to what's going on in SaaS, because the data we've seen by 2017, CMOs will spend more on IT than the CIO. So these line of business executives, they're the ones that are wanting to innovate around their business process. So business process innovation is going to drive a lot of spend, whether it's in customer care, finance, HR, because there is instant gratification. And one of the things the panel said that I thought was very, very important, it's sticky. But it's sticky in a different way. And you are going to have to change the way you sell. It's no longer sell and run, the traditional model in the IT industry. This is going to be land and expand, because clients aren't signing long-term contracts. If you don't provide them the capability, you don't provide them the service levels, they'll just move on. They'll take their data, they'll pick it up, and they'll move to someone else. You've got to continue to expand. And by the way, once they're on your platform, if you can continue to bring new capability and new services and new value, it is so easy for them to get on board. That sales velocity that Renee talked about at the beginning of the session really comes to fruition. Now, one of the things that is really important, the things like Ingram is doing around their marketplace, I think is critically important, because what they're doing is they're helping with that aggregation. And that aggregation is going to be really powerful because it makes it easier for the client, because you can't expect the client to aggregate. And by the way, I think because of that aggregation in the cloud marketplace, it's going to open up new opportunities for all of you, because it's no longer I'm selling my particular product or service. Now I'm part of a broader ecosystem, and the client gets more benefit because they can now start to look at stitching things in new and unique ways to deliver capability. And that means opportunity for everybody. But that also means you're going to be partnering more in the future than you ever have before. You can't go it alone because no one can provide all of the capability. So it's going to drive you. And the value is very simple. McDonald's uses our Connexa platform for talent management. They saw a 60% reduction in application to hire ratio. Now think of McDonald's, global business, think of how many employees they hire. Or Xcel Energy, where they have to manage $3 billion of spend. And now they're managing it all on the cloud with some of our procurement capabilities. Or Safeguard, implementing projects and reducing it by 20%. Imagine for all of you that are implementing projects for your clients, if you could implement it quickly. The Ingram marketplace is a great example of that reduction. And then marketing, we all know, if I could get just 2 or 3% more on click-throughs in digital marketing, I could increase my revenue, my profit tenfold. And so the ability to market to the individual is becoming even more important here. So if you listen to the predictions, the SaaS marketplace will triple in size between 2012 and 2018. So the cloud is here. It's not about the technology, it's about what it enables. And for all of you, I would leave 3 things you have to pay attention to. Build your skills. And I have a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 rule. 1/3 of the people, they'll get it, they'll move easy. 1/3, you're going to have to train them and help them. And 1/3, they'll never get there. Now, they may still be valuable to what you're doing, but don't expect everyone to make the shift. Build your skills. If there's one thing I hear from clients all the time is I wish all of you, whether you're a vendor, a partner, I wish you had more skill. And I think at the end of the day, those who bring the skills to the table and the innovation are going to be clear the winners and are going to get an awful lot of economic benefit. And then drive the demand. You have to participate in driving demand because clients don't know what's out there. And digital things like the marketplace, Ingram's marketplace, is important. We're moving our stuff to the marketplace. So we're announcing SoftLayer on the Ingram marketplace. We're going to move all of our SaaS properties over there over time because we want to make it easier for clients to engage and understand what's out there. And then look, grow your business. Don't be afraid of the cloud because remember, do you want to be the disrupted or the disruptor? And everybody gets to play. So enjoy the rest of the conference, and good luck with driving your businesses. And please join us at our Bluemix Lounge, South by Southwest, or our SoftLayer session in New York. Thank you.